happening, Ben?
Hey, not so much. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Very well, very well.
That's good. I've been loving Gettysburg, man.
Oh, excellent. Glad to hear it.
I thought I'd come in and see what you're doing with that.
Sure, yeah. Well, let's get started with a fresh cider that we make here that we take to farmers markets.
It tastes healthy.
That's it.
I wasn't expecting cider. I mean, I guess it's apple, so right? You expect
Yeah, it's got a nice vibrancy to it.
But it's crisp. It has a lot of flavor.
It definitely speaks fall though, too, right?
Totally. I mean, most of the time I have cider, it's around football season. Apple picking, pumpkins, that whole thing.
Yeah, get the sweaters on, get the hoodies on, break out the cider.
Who doesn't love a good cider? That's basically why I came down to Gettysburg, to check out Ploughman Taproom. Because I heard Ben was creating some next level ciders of an adult variety. And although I don't always act like it, it turns out I am an adult. I'm Steve Ford, and I was born and raised right here in PA. I'm lucky enough to know a lot of the hidden treasures and tasty treats sprinkled all across our state.
Cheers. Cheers, gentlemen.
Yes.
But I don't know them all. So I figured it was time to hop in the car and take a road trip to see what I might be missing. What's the difference between this and a wine? Is it it's the same process?
Yeah. Only substituting, obviously, the apples for the grapes. It's going to be something that's crushed and pressed. And then the act of making cider is really fermenting the sugars in the apples into alcohol. The fermentation process can be as short as a couple weeks to several months. And then at that point, you know, you can figure out if that's something that's ready to package now or if the cider would benefit from a little bit more time, maturation. Your decisions are endless at that point. It all depends on what kind of characteristics you're trying to put into the product.
Okay. And then how do the apples play a role?
Well, the apples are the primary way that you can affect the finished product. I mean, it's just like anything that you would make, the raw ingredients are key.
How many varieties of apples do you use?
Well, I think right now we're probably growing about 50 different cultivars of apples. But, you know, there's such a rich diversity in apples and so many different things they can do that one of our goals going forward is we're putting in a test block. We're trying all kinds of new and different varieties. We really want to tap into that. We want to learn more about which of these apples grow well in this unique part of the world to grow apples. And starting with the right apples is always the best way to make a good cider. And in some cases, those apples are apples with characteristics that are really only good for turning apples into alcohol.
The apples that don't taste so good at the grocery store might be better in a cider?
Well, yeah. If the apple is merely crunchy and sweet, it often doesn't offer a lot in an alcoholic beverage, which is why we like growing some fun varieties that are get a little bit more character to them. This apple is called Dabinette. I'll just let you try it without telling you too much about the experience of eating this. I just want to get your reaction on this. So this is a Dabinette. Don't worry, I'm trying one with you. I'm not.
This isn't some sort of trick?
Yeah, there's not a trick here.
I taste more of the skin than I do the apple.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that, you know, this is never going to be a big hit at a farmer's market or anything like that. But when you crush this apple and make cider out of it, pretty special.
Now, you press all these ciders and make them here in town?
On our farm, actually. So just about 12 miles north of here.
I mean, this is a great destination for sure, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know, apples are something we've been doing for a long time here. We have a commercial industry that goes back well over 100 years in Adams County. And we're really proud to be able to bring that kind of rural spirit of northern Adams County into the square here in Gettysburg and give people some fun experiences around apples.
Eating strange apple varieties was an experience for sure, but I'm thinking drinking them might be a lot more fun. Well, it's much clearer.
Right, so that's going to be achieved through fermentation, and that's going to be not only because the tannins in the Dabinette apple provide that, but also spent a year in an oak barrel, so you're going to get a little bit of that oak tannin in there as well.
This tastes way different. I can tell it's an alcoholic beverage now.
Yep, exactly. So that one comes in at about 8.5% ABV. And that's, you know, really driven by the amount of sugar that was in that apple when it was harvested.
8% alcohol by volume.
That's it.
That's stiff.
Yeah, it's, well, yeah.
That's a sipper.
I'll pour you a cider made with a Sopa Spitzenberg apple.
Maybe we should pour smaller glasses. I guess I don't have to drink it all, right?
Sure, exactly.
Oh, they smell different too.
Big time.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of cider sometimes gets made with different flavorings or different purees, but our goal in our cider making is to just show people that just changing the variety of apple can provide a very different drinking experience. So that Stark cider is going to drink considerably different than what you're experiencing with the Dabinet Roxbury Russet blend. And all we're talking about is, 4 different apples, 2 in this one, 2 in that one, and the difference is just night and day.
Yeah, I think this one's a little more bitter. This one's a little more fruity.
Yep. And so by comparison, so you've got the Asopa Spitzenberg, and then this is the Stamen, which is the other apple in the Stark blend that you're trying.
So I have to eat these both at the same time to get this.
I wouldn't get too complicated with it, but the bottom line is, those are both of those apples you'll remember from trying the Dabinet, completely different.
But it's definitely not a direct line from apple to drink.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
As far as I'm an amateur cider drinker, I can't.
Yeah,
tell.
no, you're not alone in that. The process of fermentation, and this is why I kind of love it so much, it does so many interesting things between the raw product and the finished beverage that you get to know the apple in 2 ways. You get to know what it tastes like coming off the tree. You get to learn what it tastes like when it's finished fermenting as a cider, whether they're new varieties or whether they're old varieties that are just kind of coming back during this apple renaissance we're having.
Welcome to the apple revolution.
That's it,
Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome. Ben is literally crushing it when it comes to adult ciders. But I heard about a place just outside of Gettysburg that was using fresh cider in their beer. So I called up my friend Akil, a master mixologist and bartender from Pittsburgh, and we headed just down the road to Biglerville because beer made with cider is a mashup I was ready to try.
Apple Graph is not actually a beer and it's not actually a hard cider. What we do is combine a beer wort that we make, it's a base beer, unfermented, and then we add fresh squeezed apple cider to it and ferment it in combination with one another. And what we've done with the process of different yeasts is be able to get the bouquet, the aroma of the apple, and the apple flavor in the beverage.
I've had plenty of beers, but I've never had beer wort. What is beer wort?
Basically what wort is, it's these grains ground up in our grinder.
Can I see this?
Yeah.
You can see these are unground right now, but we have our 2 grains that go into it. One will give it the fermentable sugars, the other one will give it head, a little bit of color, some other things like that. That's basically what the grains do. And at that point then it goes over in the boil kettle, and that's where we add our hops, and they do the bittering. And so what that's going to taste like is going to be like a really sweet tea with a bit of bitterness on the back end.
I'll give you the sample of what we just put in the fermenter.
Thank you.
It's the fresh beer wort with the fresh apple cider in it.
What's that?
So it's really not going to taste great, in my opinion.
I mean, I wouldn't want a whole glass of it.
No, I can see where the process is getting started drinking this, but that's a lot of sugar.
It's it's sweet and it's,
And there's no alcohol in it. Why do it?
good point. So how'd you guys get into making the beer?
A hobby and trying to diversify a little bit of income.
Okay,
Hoping it would work.
it's working out.
So
You have
far.
quite an operation here for sure.
Thank you. Yep.
Milton and his family have been growing apples in Adams County for generations. 8 years ago, they turned a farm storage shed into a brewing facility. And their love of apples, mixed with their love of brewing, led them to create this apple graph.
Well,
To
to experimenting.
Cheers.
Well, it's nice.
Oh wow, that's
That's
a little too easy to drink. I'm not gonna lie about it.
I thought it would be a little
I'm gonna
heavier.
take another one.
You know, it's very cidery. There's a lot of apple flavor.
Right.
And yeah, it could be dangerous.
And some aroma. So
Yeah, that the acidity though from those apples is really.
it's a new breakfast drink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can drink that seriously any time of day. That's. Yep, I'm gonna.
Enjoy it a little more.
I can definitely taste some hops in there.
Probably get a little bitterness through it, yeah.
It's a little bit better.
Sometimes it finishes like a beer. It sort of like starts off, kind of tricks you into thinking you're about to drink just a cider.
A cider.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just like just like Senior said, you get the apple aroma.
Thank you.
Original taste is just like a cider. And then
Cheers.
finishing as a beer is exactly what it is.
Yes.
What do you serve any food here with the beers?
We do. We have all kinds of stuff. It's a build your own type menu. You have rolls or different things, paninis, flatbread.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay.
And you have that?
You want to try that?
Yeah, we could
Try that.
Yeah.
I think we just ordered one.
Perfect. I think we'll go perfect with this graph right here.
I think
All
so.
right.
Sure, I might have just charmed my way into a ham and apple flatbread with apple butter. But I mean, I did need something to pair with our next round of apple graph.
Oh my God. That's good. That's really good.
I mean, apples on food is underrated for sure.
Yeah. The sweet,
Really
salty.
nice.
It's a perfect balance. Wow.
That's
You
good.
gonna eat more of that, or is that
I'm gonna eat
mine?
the whole thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it's there.
You might have to order another one.
I'll share it with you. Well, guys, thank you so much for having us. This is amazing. I love how passionate you guys are about apples, and everyone around is. And it's been such a pleasure to try a new beverage. And apple graph is really such a cool thing to see. I didn't realize I had a thirst for apples, and now I do.
great.
Plus,
All right.
thank you for these guys.
Cheers.
Cheers again.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Pennsylvania apple farmers are building on their history to take apple refreshment to the next level. I mean, sure, apple pie is all American, but these folks are leaning into the science to mix up the next big thing in adult beverages. It turns out that apples are for more than just eating, and I can drink to that.